Hello, everyone. My name is Zachary Kim. I am the analyst assigned to the Adoption Assistance Program, also known as AAP, for the California Department of Social Services, also known as CDSS. Today, I will be presenting on All County Letter ACL 25-20, Adoption Assistance Program Eligibility, and Assembly Bill AB 2948. At the end of this webinar, I will cover a few frequently asked questions and answers. To start us off, there are two key definitions that are important for all of us to understand. For all AAP cases, there are two entities that are involved. The first is the responsible public agency, and the second is the financially responsible county. The responsible public agency is a county adoption agency or a CDSS regional office, otherwise known as the department. The responsible public agency is responsible for determining AAP eligibility, negotiating the initial and subsequent AAP benefits, and completing the reassessment process. The financially responsible county is the income maintenance division, the eligibility unit, in each county welfare department. The financially responsible county is responsible for the federal eligibility determination and payment of AAP benefits. Now that we know these two key definitions, let's move on to the AAP benefits a child may be eligible for. The AAP benefits include a monthly negotiated rate, medical coverage through Medi-Cal, Medicaid, reimbursement of non-reoccurring adoption expenses up to $400 per child per adoption, payment if eligible for an out-of-home placement, and payment if eligible for wraparound services. AAP benefits may continue in a subsequent adoption. This would be a situation when a child previously received AAP benefits, but the adoption tied to the AAP case dissolved due to death of adoptive parents or termination of parental rights, and the child will be subsequently adopted. AAP benefits may also continue regardless of the adoptive family's state or country of residence. If the adoptive family moves outside of the country, the medical coverage for the child will not continue. AAP benefits may also continue beyond age 18 to age 21 if the child is eligible for the extension of AAP benefits to age 21. Now that we have an understanding of the entities involved in the administration of the AAP case and the available AAP benefits, let's move on to how Assembly Bill 2948 changed AAP eligibility. Prior to the passage of Assembly Bill 2948, Indian children whose dependency case was transferred from state court jurisdiction to tribal jurisdiction did not meet one of the components of AAP eligibility, specifically the first part of the three-part special needs determination, and therefore were not eligible for AAP benefits. To receive AAP benefits, a child must meet all three eligibility components. The first component is the three-part special needs determination. The child must meet all three parts. The second component is the citizenship requirement. The child must be a U.S. citizen or qualified alien. The third component is an eligibility pathway. The child must meet the applicable child Title IV-E federal eligibility pathway. Assembly Bill 2948 amended Welfare and Institutions Code, Section 16120A1, to allow for an Indian child whose dependency case was transferred from state court jurisdiction to tribal jurisdiction to meet the first part of a three-part special needs determination for AAP eligibility. In addition to the change in AAP eligibility, it is important to note that the request for AAP benefits, the eligibility determination, the benefit negotiation, and the execution of the AAP agreement and the non-reoccurring adoption expenses agreement must be completed prior to the adoption finalization. The AAP case must be established prior to the adoption finalization. If the adoption is finalized prior to the AAP case being established, the child will not be eligible for AAP benefits. At the time there is a plan for adoption and prior to the tribal adoption finalization, the tribe will need to communicate to the county who previously had dependency jurisdiction of the child that there is a plan for adoption. The responsible public agency will need to work with the tribe and the tribal prospective adopted parents to ensure that the required documentation provided is complete and to ensure the AAP process is completed prior to tribal adoption finalization. The tribe will need to assist the tribal prospective adoptive parents with the request for AAP benefits for the child and with the submission of the AAP request packet to the responsible public agency, including the supporting documentation required to justify the request. The tribe will need to provide the AAP 7 Adoption Assistance Program Statement of Acknowledgement Form and the AAP 1 Request for Adoption Assistance Program Benefits Form to the tribal prospective adopted parents to review and complete. The AAP 7 form provides information about AAP and how to apply for AAP benefits, that adoptive parents may be reimbursed for non-reoccurring adoption expenses of up to $400 per adopted child, and that adoptive parents may qualify for federal and state adoption tax credits. The AAP 1 form is the form tribal prospective adoptive parents will need to complete and submit to the responsible public agency to request AAP benefits. The tribe will also need to assist the tribal prospective adoptive parents with gathering all documentation for the AAP request packet. The tribe will need to complete the letter template for tribes and provide to the tribal prospective adoptive parents to include in the AAP request packet. Once all the documentation for the AAP request packet is gathered, the tribal prospective adoptive parents will need to send the AAP request packet to the responsible public agency. The AAP 7 and AAP 1 forms can be obtained from the CDSS Forms website. Attached to ACL 25-20 are the sample AAP request packet checklist and the letter template for tribes. Typically, the county who was responsible for the placement and care of the Indian child prior to the transfer of the case to the tribe for adoption with the tribe is both the financially responsible county and the responsible public agency. However, if the county contracts with the CDSS regional office for the administration of the AAP case, the CDSS regional office will be the responsible public agency. The responsible public agency will be responsible for collaborating and communicating with the tribe to establish the AAP case prior to tribal adoption finalization. After the AAP case is established, tribal adoptive parents will need to contact the responsible public agency to make requests regarding the child's AAP case. Requests include, but are not limited to, reassess and renegotiate the child's total monthly negotiated AAP rate due to a change in the child's care and supervision needs and the family circumstances. Extend the AAP benefits beyond age 18 up to age 21, or execute a Medi-Cal only AAP agreement or a deferred AAP agreement. After the tribal adoption finalization, tribal adoptive parents must inform the responsible public agency immediately if any of the following occurs: a change in mailing address and/or state of residence, the child is no longer residing in the family home, tribal adoptive parents are no longer providing any type of support to the child, or tribal adoptive parents are no longer legally responsible for the support of the child. If tribal adoptive parents do not have the contact number for the responsible public agency, they may email the Adoption Services Branch at aap@dss.ca.gov for further assistance. Now we will enter into the question and answer portion of this webinar for ACL 25-20, Adoption Assistance Program Eligibility, and Assembly Bill 2948. Question number 1. Does the county have to close the dependency case to access AAP benefits? Yes, the dependency case with the county must be closed when transferring the child's case from state court jurisdiction to tribal jurisdiction. Question 2. Please explain when the child's case must be transferred to tribal jurisdiction to remain eligible for AAP benefits. The child must be an adjudicated dependent of a juvenile court immediately prior to the transfer to tribal jurisdiction. Question 3. Does the three-part special needs determination refer to a child's special needs? Yes. The three-part special needs determination is used to determine if a child is a child with special needs. For a dependent Indian child whose dependency case was transferred from state court jurisdiction to tribal jurisdiction to be considered a child with special needs, the following must be met. 1. It has been determined that the child cannot or should not be returned to the home of a child's parents, as evidenced in the case of an Indian child who was a dependent of the juvenile court immediately prior to the transfer of the Indian child's case to tribal jurisdiction. 2. The child has at least one of the following characteristics that are barriers to the child's adoption. Either the child is part of a sibling group that should remain intact, is 3 years of age or older, or has a parental background of a medical or behavioral nature that can adversely affect the child's development. Or the child has a mental, physical, emotional, or medical disability that has been certified by a licensed professional competent to make an assessment and operating within the scope of that licensee's profession. 3. The need for an adoption subsidy is evidenced by an unsuccessful search for an adoptive home to take the child without financial assistance. This search requirement shall be waived when it is against the best interest of the child to move to another home due to the existence of significant emotional ties with their prospective adopted parents. Question 4. Do Indian children who are determined eligible for AAP benefits receive the same benefits that all other children receive through AAP, including extended benefits? Yes. Question 5. What is the required documentation for tribal prospective adoptive parents to request AAP benefits on behalf of their child? The CDSS attached to ACL 25-20 a sample checklist to be completed prior to the submission of the AAP request packet, and a sample letter template tribes will need to include in the AAP request packet. The AAP request packet includes all of the required documentation for the tribal prospective adoptive parents to request AAP benefits on behalf of their child. Question 6. If the Indian child is determined eligible for AAP benefits, is the funding federal or state non-fed? It is Title IV-E federal funding. Question 7. Who is responsible for the AAP benefits payments? The county who is responsible for the child's placement and care prior to the transfer of the case to the tribal jurisdiction. This concludes the Q&A portion of this webinar. Before we end this webinar, here are final reminders. If the adoption is finalized prior to when the AAP case is established, the child will not be eligible to receive AAP benefits. Tribes and responsible public agencies will need to work together to ensure access to AAP benefits. If tribes need further assistance to make contact with the responsible public agency, they may email aap@dss.ca.gov for further assistance. If there are any other questions, please email aap@dss.ca.gov. Please also review ACL 25-20 for additional guidance on Assembly Bill 2948 and AAP eligibility. Thank you for your interest in learning more about ACL 25-20, Adoption Assistance Program eligibility, and Assembly Bill 2948. Have a great rest of your day.